So let's talk about lines. Lines are basically marks made on a surface with an object. If you're working traditionally, you could probably have canvas paper as your surface, or let's say you are painting in copper, that could be a surface. And then as an object, you could probably have a paintbrush or a pencil or a marker and everything in between. Now, what that looks like is, because I'm working digitally, it's going to be digital canvas and digital brushes. So if I go ahead and do something like this, what I've done here is I have made a mark on this surface, which is going to be my line. With that said, let's move on to the next statement, which says that lines are used to define objects and provide clarity to the viewer. Let's go ahead and see what that would look like. Now, I'm going to make it very basic. If you look at drawings done by nursery or kindergarten going kids, you realize that they draw their trees as something like this. That would look like a tree. And what they're usually saying is, if I do this, then I'm probably drawing a tree. Now, what they've done is they've literally just used lines to define an object, which is the tree, providing clarity to you, the viewer, by making sure that you do not mistake this for a bicycle or a book or anything else that isn't a tree. So basically what they've done is they have tried to communicate a tree to you. So that's what defining an object and providing clarity would look like. And basically this is going to keep coming up over and over and over, because as you draw, you're going to progress into defining clarity in very many ways. But having a foundation of what it means is important. And it all begins with the lines we're using. And then I go ahead to say that lines can be thick, medium, or thin. What that looks like is something like this, whereby we have a thick line. This is kind of the lines we should go over more than once. Then the medium line could be something like that. Then the thin line could definitely be this. Now what's happening is this line is going to be used in different places for different reasons. For example, if you want to, let's say, create emphasis, you're going to usually use a thick line. If you want to just have a basic outline of an object, you could use a medium line. If you want to, let's say, communicate details in certain areas, you could use a thin line. So it brings us back to the rule of threes again. Very cool stuff. I wanted us to just have this kind of idea placed out there clearly, because there are obviously very many other ways to classify lines. For example, you can have spiraling lines, or you could have horizontal lines, or you could have vertical lines. But the thing is, they can either be thick horizontal lines or thin horizontal lines or medium horizontal lines. Same thing applies to spiraling lines and even the whole idea of zigzag lines. They can either be one of the three, but it will always bring you back here. So it's only fair that you understand these three. And then I can use this opportunity to talk about CSI, which is simply 3 strokes that we can make using our lines that we have chosen to use. For example, if we're saying we're going to use thick or thin or medium, we're going to usually be making CS or I strokes, in the sense that if it's C, it's going to be this kind of stroke coming this way. There's just going to be this kind of strokes going all the way around like that. So these are the kind of strokes that have this kind of C element to them. S strokes are going to just be like 2 C strokes, but with a more flow or more rhythm. And they're going to be used in different areas. So usually when you're drawing something like a ribbon, which is going to be applied to very many other things, you usually find yourself using this kind of S strokes. Even gesture drawing has a lot of S strokes in it. Then I strokes, obviously like the name suggests, they're going to be these kind of lines going this way, kind of lines going this way. So I strokes are a bit more, let's say, more rigid. There's less to, let's say, rhythm to them, but they're very useful lines to also remember. And so now you can tell that you can either make them thick, thin, or medium, but CSI is going to be very common and it will always come up. And I think that's something very important for you to appreciate. So you can already tell that these are 3, and these right here, 3. So you're going to realize that things are going to keep coming up in 3s, and I think it's something really useful to keep in mind. And I think with that said, I'll see you in the next one.